everyone, welcome to the 7 o'clock show. We're live with you until 8, and because Lucy is off on holidays, we've got the lovely Shayna Keane with us.
It's for the whole week. Every day they do that.
Well, they do it as she walks into the building, they do it when she's leaving.
They hang out here all day, they're great. Thank you very much.
We got the rider list, so...
Did you get my white flowers in the dressing room?
They're there.
Did I have a dressing room? That was the loo.
Not yet.
OK, coming up tonight, we have two brilliant guests on the sofa. Our reigning Rose of Tralee and friend of the show, Maria Walsh. We'll be stopping by along with actress Ger Ryan as well.
We've got to feed them.
Yes.
So Chef Oliver Dunn is keeping our healthy buzz going after Easter and showing us meals we can sneak veg into for the kids and probably, if truth is known, for the adults too. Plus, he'll be answering your cooking-related questions at home. And
then we're very excited because the Batman of budgeting is in. Yes, it's Conor Pope. He's going to be saving us money when he stops by, and he'll also be answering all your questions. So if you want to send them in, do that. OK, later in the show, we'll be telling you how you can win 5 family passes to Tato Park. But as always, we want to hear from you guys at home. So send your questions, comments, and even your photos of what you're cooking right now. To get in touch, here's what you need to do.
You can text the word 7 followed by your message to 53131.
Pop us an email, 7o'clockshow@tv3.ie.
Or find 7 o'clock show on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram.
Now, of course, after the long weekend of feasting on chocolate, we all did it. We decided to set ourselves the challenge this week. We're going to help ourselves be really healthy just for 1 week. After that, we can go back to eating chocolate. In the kitchen, Chef Oliver Dunn, he makes healthy foods taste delicious. You try. We wouldn't get anybody else in to do this. What are we doing?
Today I'm doing a fish pie. So it's a fish pie, and yes, it is suitable for adults as well, apart from we just sneak a load of vegetables in. So there's carrots, celeriac, leeks, but they're all hidden. So the kids won't spot them. It tastes gorgeous. So it's not a case you have to cook one dish for an adult, another for the kids, because that's just...
a pain.
Yeah, doesn't work out.
It's my life.
Yeah, and likewise. So this is just something we can do together, and it works, and it's gorgeous.
And it's tasty, and that's what really matters. You're also going to be answering questions too for people at home.
That's it, yeah. Any cooking-related questions, fire them in at me, and I will be delighted to answer them.
OK.
I'll try, anyway.
Well, he's one of the best.
He's really confident.
Yeah, I'll lie if I don't know the answer, so...
Oliver, thanks very, very much.
Yeah.
Now, we've got 2 guests on the sofa today. One is the reigning Rose of Tralee, that is Miss Maria Walsh. And the other is one of Ireland's most respected actresses who has appeared in the likes of Raw, The Family and Intermission, and we're just nearly skimming the top. It is, of course,
on and on.
Brilliant Ger Ryan is here too.
So lovely to have you both in. And, Madame, 8 months on from the Rose of Tralee.
I know. It feels like yesterday. But yeah, there's still a couple more months left of good, solid, hard work to do, raising the awareness that it's a 12-month ambassador role, not just for myself, but for the 69 Rose sisters I have right across the world. But it's been busy, yeah.
And what have the highlights been over the past nearly a year?
Nearly a year. Definitely humanitarian work. I'm a devil for that. Did a trip to Calcutta with the Hope Foundation, South Africa with Mellon Educate. A couple of weeks ago, we went to Chernobyl with CCI and the beautiful Lady Roach. In July, I head to Tanzania with Development Perspectives. Got presented with the Mayo jersey in Crow Park. And met...
highlight.
And, of course, met the President of the United States of America and asked him to be my escort in Tralee.
And what did he say?
He said he'll come back to me.
Or somebody.
That's kind of like that line, it isn't you, it's me.
Yeah. But I did, you know, you can't invite someone to the kingdom and then not to Mayo. So I think I didn't know whether he said no to the Tralee or no to Mayo or no to both, so he might show up in one of the places. Yeah,
but you should have mentioned Moneygall. If you had said, I'm related to the Obamas from Moneygall, I have to go then.
He's like, oh, shall I be up for a cup of tea next week?
You have done incredible work with your year, but was this something you always wanted to do? Did you have your eyes set on the Rose of Tralee?
Yeah, well, it's something, I mean, I'm sure like many of your viewers at home, it's something I had always watched. So I moved from Boston to the great Shrule County Mayo when I was 7. And it's, yeah, every summer I'd watch it. And then when I got to the 12-13 mark, I thought there has to be more than the 2 nights on TV that people see at home. There has to be more depth to it. There's no way this could be going on as long as it has. And I kind of had 2 rules, though. I would either love to represent Mayo or the next place I called home. And I've been in Philadelphia for 3 years and took a stab at it when I first went, moved to the city just to really meet more people. Because the Irish communities are everywhere and you really just, sometimes you just need to regardless of whether you immigrated or not, you need to have that close roots to you. And I was really proud. I am really proud of my Irish heritage. So
you and Obama.
Yeah, you know, hopefully they'll name there has to be a gas
turn
station.
you down?
It wasn't Mayo, Philadelphia. My 2012, that year, a beautiful girl called Elizabeth Smellman got selected. And I thought, ticked off the bucket list. I made 5 great friends. I have the Irish community now. I was playing football. Life was great. And then this year, the centre reached out again saying, you know, there's another bunch of new girls coming in. You should try it out. And I'm so delighted I didn't kind of go with my head and I went with my gut. And because originally I said, you know what, it's off the bucket list. But I'm delighted I gave it another shot. And that's kind of what I'm saying. We have a lot of selection nights going right across the world. 22 roses at this point have been selected, but there's still time for many of the roses potentials at home. And that's what I've been saying as I've been going around, you know, just seize the opportunity, go for it, you know, and you never know.
Okay, well, this was something you wanted to do from
Yes.
a young age. From a young age, Ger, you wanted to be an actress.
No. I had no
She wants
idea.
to be the Rosa Tree.
I wore the crown.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Well, we're going to have to get you to wear it on TV.
No, I had no idea what I wanted to do
No?
at all. In the dark old days of the 70s, I just wanted out of Ireland, basically. So I did that for a little while, and I kind of fell into it, you know.
But when you fell into it, you were a real creative bunch.
Well, it was like coming home,
Yeah.
you know. It was like finding your tribe. That's the only way I can describe it, you know.
But you were working with Brendan Gleeson.
Well, the Passion Machine, yeah. They were heady days in the 80s. John Sutton, Paul Mercier, John Dunn, Brendan Gleeson, Breed Vicari, Anton Nolan, myself. There was a bunch of people. And Paul Mercier wrote and directed these amazing plays. And they just kind of hit a chord with people. I mean, he was doing something that hadn't really been done before. And we were based in the SFX, which is now gone, the St. Francis Xavier Hall. So, yeah, I mean, it was and the same building at the same time. Roddy Doyle was... John Sutton, they had set up a publishing company called King Farouk Publishing to publish the Commitments. So there was a lot going on.
Okay, and then, of course, it was just soon after that your whole association with Roddy Doyle began. Yeah,
that was later on in 90... I think we made Family in 1993, 94.
And that
which is
was
extraordinary.
20 years ago.
Such a groundbreaking programme.
It was an amazingly written 4-parter. He's a craftsman. It was so beautifully written. It's very rare you get 4, you know, hour-long, you know, episodes. Not one word or comma had to be queried by anybody. And that's very unusual. Usually dialogue, you're kind of going, could I say this a different way? Nothing. It was just as it was. And, you know...
We had Sean McGinley in here a few weeks ago.
I love
lovely,
Sean
lovely
McGinley.
man.
Oh, he's an amazing guy.
And people still talk to him about the family.
By Charlie.
Yeah.
I mean, has it followed you as well?
Not so much now, but it did. To such a degree I would deny. Seriously, I would deny. They say, you're one, and I go, no.
You couldn't get away with it because you're so distinctive looking.
It was very difficult because I wasn't... nowadays, the younger generation, they want fame and they like it and they're confident and stuff. It freaked me out.
Really?
I still don't deal with it very well. So I used to lie.
Say, wasn't it? That's my sister.
No, I deny it till the cows came home.
And that was such a strong female character. And I've heard you talk since about sort of not having such amazing, strong lead female characters.
I think I can feel that, and I sense it, and I'm thrilled about it, that there is a very slow, subtle change happening. Because I think also it's not just women talking about it, men are talking about it because, you know, they don't need women to be made look stupid so that men look good. Do you know what I mean? And actually, it's all about good writing.
And even coming from the States, Juliana Moore, all of those, and even the Oscars.
There's superb. And, you know, there's a lot of actresses now, powerful hitters in America who are setting up their own production company. They're looking for scripts, they're looking for stories because, let's face it, women are a lot more interesting than they are in the movies. And there's a great thing called the Bechdel test, which is a Swedish test now, and I think it'll become the norm in the future, where it's like they're thinking of using it to see if they will give funding to different projects. And there's certain questions to ask about the gender balance within a film, and are the women women there just to talk about men in the film, or do they have their own story, their own arc,
great.
you know? But my favourite one is the sexy lamp test that this female writer wrote. And it's just one question, and it's, could you replace the female character in your film with a lamp? And would you notice the difference? Because basically, you know, some films and television programmes get made where the women are interchangeable. You wouldn't notice if they weren't there. They add nothing.
Okay.
Do you know?
But that is changing.
Oh, it's changing, and I'm thrilled.
I'm going to ask that question anytime I see TV now.
Yeah, do. I mean,
Would you change that?
You will be looking at television and film differently. It's really just taking a step back and going, half of those parts could be played by women without changing a word of dialogue. They're just jobs. Do you know? And it's really just a bit more interesting.
Okay. Yeah. Well, lots of people have been in touch with us, and thanks to everybody who have been in touch. Lots of questions in for you.
Oh,
and one of the things that in fact, a couple of people have pointed out is that you have changed the way people look at the Rose of Tralee. It is not... And she has. She really, really has.
I honestly, as wonderful, and I'm so grateful for everybody even saying that or thinking that, but the Rose of Tralee, much to people's surprise, has been far ahead of its time than I think people give it credit for. And I'm its 56th Rose, and we had an international reunion early January. And if you meet the international Rose, and even indeed, I mean, I'm very biased to my 2014 class because the 69 Roses that I represent are just phenomenal women, both life experience as well as education, as well as just great humour and wit, and just really proud of their Irish roots. So they're the ones that change it, and I just get to be the one that sits on the couch and has a chat.
But people would have thought that was like a lovely girls' competition, as
the
they parodied
stereotype,
in Father Ted, but you're a bit different.
I would love to be called a lovely girl. I think people think of different words after meeting me. But yeah, no, I guess the short hair, the tattoos, being... this thing called being gay, and then I think what really surprised people is me being a pioneer.
Yeah,
so
I know.
they
Irish
can't cope
and
with
a
that. I know. I think actually that's where probably most people are going, no, we're done with her now. She's done. We don't know what to do with her.
The gay thing is fine. The fact that she doesn't have a drink, that's what we think of it.
It's like, what are we meant to talk about now?
I very rarely drink. Very, very rare. Okay.
Well, I just don't think you need. I never needed that crutch, you know.
So. You really don't.
Well, you are a lovely girl. You're both.
I will let you try it,
girls.
I'll let you try the crown on later on. You don't have to be so nice.
Now, keep all the questions coming in. If you want to get in touch, here's all the information on how to do that.
You can text the word 7 followed by your message to 53131.
Pop us an email, 7o'clockshow@tv3.ie.
Or find 7 O'Clock Show on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram.
And keep your questions coming in for Conor Pope as well, because he'll be discussing the terrible practice of shrinkflation.
Did he make that up?
I don't think
he
did. Yeah, but I have a couple of queries as well. Anyway, this is when products shrink without any explanation. Yes, it is a thing, and you'll find out all about it after the break. Yes, welcome back to the 7 O'Clock Show. We're live with you until 8 o'clock with guests Ger Ryan and Maria Walsh. And on the sofa for his weekly consumer slot now is Mr. Conor Pope, tackling shrinkflation.
It's a thing.
It's actually a thing in a word.
No, I didn't make it up. And I'm just going to sit here for the next 7 minutes and enrage your viewers.
Oh,
because
good.
It's basically going to be a list of things that used to be big but now are small.
OK, so you go off to Finland for a week and come back to an Irish.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, no, we'll talk about Finland later maybe. But it's every year Which magazine, the big consumer magazine in the UK, publishes a list of products which have got smaller. And it's a really nasty way, I think, for brands to up the prices without telling people what they're doing. Now, for instance, there's some really very high-profile ones. For instance, Cadbury's used to have a 6-pack of Cadbury's cream eggs, and the 6-pack earlier this year became a 5-pack. Now, the price stayed the same, but there was 1 Cadbury's cream egg less in it. Now, you're kind of thinking, OK, well, who's going to eat 5 Cadbury's cream eggs? Or never mind 6, so it's grand.
But hang on, don't you buy a dozen of eggs? If you're buying real eggs, you would buy half a dozen to a dozen.
Yeah.
So how can you buy 5?
You see, you're a man who grew up in a world where Tayto used to have the price on the packet.
And they had crisps in the packet.
And it was a simpler world because everyone knew how much a pint of milk cost or a loaf of bread. But I reckon if you asked your viewers now, how much is a loaf of bread? Nobody would, or very few people would be able to tell you. And very few people might be able to tell you how much 2 litres of milk cost. Because manufacturers and retailers go out of their way to make pricing slightly complicated, because they know that, and I'm including all of them here, so they'll all be suing you now, so that'll be grand.
I'm going tomorrow.
When they create this maelstrom of confusion, the only people who win are the retailers and the manufacturers.
Right.
So let me give you some of the examples of products that have got smaller over the last 12 months.
I feel like I should do a drum roll.
You
go ahead.
Surf washing powder, Surf with essential oils, used to be 2 kilograms last year. This year it's 1.6 kilograms. Now, just to put that into perspective, that means that everybody who buys a box of Surf gets 2 washes less out of the box than they would have this time last year. Bird's Eye Select Mixed Vegetables was 750 grams. Now it's 690 grams. That's 10% decline in the size of the product. Yet you're paying the same price. Philadelphia cheese fell by 10%. Sif, and I hate saying the word Sif, it really angers me. Like, they probably changed the name 20 years ago, but it's still Jif in my head.
So we all
Jif and Domestos spray bleaches, they've came down from 750 millilitres to 700 millilitres. But it's been going on for like about 4 or 5 years, this thing. And the manufacturers say that there's a certain price point beyond which consumers don't want to go. So they claim they're doing us a favour by saying, listen, you don't want to spend more than €1 on this product. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the product smaller, but still charge you €1, so everyone wins. Except not everybody wins; the consumer loses. So it's a real thing, and it's a kind of a pernicious way retail manufacturers can maximise their profits. Now, the manufacturers all defend the shrinking of the products. And for instance, all the chocolate makers will say, listen, cocoa prices have gone up on international markets, and there's nothing we can do, and we don't set the prices anymore. And that's actually why I mentioned the Tato model, because in the old days when Tato used to carry 4p, like if I was to ask you, Martin, what was the cheapest you can remember a bag of Tato? Because when people would say, oh, it's 3 pence, 4 pence, 5 pence, whatever it might be.
What could have it been?
In the 20s. I remember just after listening to Jim Larkin make a speech, I went out and I bought a bag of Tato.
But the reason why they got rid of the price on a bag of Tato, and they got rid of it maybe 15, 16 years ago, was because retailers wanted the control over the pricing. So now all that the manufacturers issue is a recommended retail price. But the retailer can charge whatever price they want.
Okay. Well,
so are you saying the issue is with the retailer or the manufacturers?
It's probably with both. The manufacturers are saying, OK, well, we give the retailers these products. They can sell them for whatever price they want. If a litre of cart door ice cream, which is now 900 millilitres of cart door ice cream, if it did cost €3 and we've now made the size smaller, maybe the retailer could take the hit and charge €2.50. But of course they don't do that. And speaking of things that used to be a litre, innocent smoothies used to be a litre. Now it's 900 millilitres. Who buys a 900 millilitre carton? It's ridiculous.
I know,
but it's one of those retailer tricks. And you talk about who's to blame. The big retailers, and I'm talking about the giant retailers, the ones that who are huge all over the world, they are perfectly skilled at extracting money from us, and they have all manner of tricks up their sleeve that they use, and they're simple things. We've probably talked about them before.
You mentioned chocolates, right? And you mentioned Cadbury's. Cadbury's aren't the only ones, though. Yorkie used to have a square for every letter.
Every lorry driver.
Yeah. There were 6 blocks.
That's absolutely right.
Now it's down to 5, is it?
There's only 5 blocks, but not only that. The Yorkie has fallen in size by more than 20% since it was first launched on the market in 1976. Now, when it was launched, the unique selling point of the Yorkie was it's a big bar of chocolate. Now you're kind of thinking, not so big anymore, really, is it?
Well, even penguins. I bought a bag of penguins weekend before last and opened them up and said, right, kids, some treats there if you want them. And they've shrunk as well.
Well, do you know what the retail... some of the chocolate makers, and it's actually, this isn't... I don't want to focus exclusively on the chocolate makers, but the chocolate makers often say, no, Martin, it's not that the penguins have got smaller, it's just that you've got bigger.
Yeah, all right.
I'm serious.
Your eyes are bigger.
So your hands are bigger. So when you look at that penguin, you're going, God, it was big. But you see, you were a small child back in the day, Martin. So that's what they say. It's, of course, complete nonsense. The penguin has, in fact, got smaller.
Okay. Well, see, so few of us are actually comparing. We don't have the old pack to compare. What are your tips and hints for us to fight this,
Just be very careful of confusing multi-buys. They might have buy 3, get the 4th one free or whatever. And sometimes it can actually work out cheaper to buy products individually. Also, refill packs aren't always the cheaper option. Sometimes it can be better to buy the actual full pack. Larger packs aren't always cheaper than 2 smaller packs. And this kills me. A lot of the readers in the Irish Times will write to me and say, you know, there was 2 boxes of biscuits of 250 grams each, and they bought the 750-gram box of biscuits, but the per kilo price is actually much cheaper on the 2 smaller packets. So you'd save money by buying 3 smaller packets as opposed to the 1 bigger packet. And then beware of these big stickers that retailers put on products, like only €1 or only $1.99. You know, that doesn't necessarily mean it's good value for money. It just means they want to flog that product to you. So always look at the prices on the shelves and do the comparisons. But of course, the reality is, if you're walking around at the supermarket and you're tired and you're stressed and you've got two children going, "Shouldies, let me get on your shoulders," and all of that stuff, it can be really hard for a harassed shopper to do the price comparisons. And with that, with that in mind, you just have to go with it. Clearly, you have to look out for. You were asking actually before we went on air, should you buy the special offers? Sometimes the special offers are great value for money, but not always. So you just have to look.
So you can't just trust it. You need to do your own research.
Never.
See what the contents are.
Yeah.
And then weigh it up. Connor, he's not going anywhere. He's staying with us as well. So don't forget, he is sticking around. So any questions that you may have, send them to us, and Connor will get around to them later in the show. Here's how you can get in touch.
You can text the word 7 followed by your message to 53131.
Pop us an email, 7o'clockshow@tv3.ie.
Or find 7 O'Clock Show on Facebook, Twitter or Instagram.
It's nearly time for a quick break. When we come back, we'll be bringing Ger and Maria to the kitchen to put them to work with our chef, Oliver Dunn. But first, let's check with Oliver. Any questions then, Oliver?
I have, yes. I have 2 questions. The first one is a question that is the bane of my life as a chef. Right. And what it is, every week I teach cookery classes, and every single week a question like this will come in. And I'm sorry, Ali from Clare. Is there an alternative for fish in this dish? Now, seeing as I'm making a fish pie...
It's kind of got to have fish.
Yeah, it has to have fish. But I won't leave you there. What you could do is you could make a white sauce, like a bechamel-based sauce, a roux, put some chicken in, some leeks, some wild mushrooms, a little bit of stock, and then you'd have an alternative white dish. Otherwise, you could do like a bolognese and then become the shepherd's pie. But is there an alternative fish in a fish pie? No. Lucy from Mayo then is saying she's thinking of making this dish the weekend with pastry on top, and would that work? And absolutely, of course it would. The exact same thing, it would work, and you can make it in advance or make it from scratch. It'll be the same thing. You could actually cook it in the daytime, go off out, and then just reheat it later on. So absolutely, it would work.
Okay, all right.
So Lucy gets 100%, Ali gets 0.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And so apart from the fish,
yeah,
what other ingredients are in your fish pie?
We have some carrots, some celeriac, some leek, a bit of lemon, herbs, we've dill and chopped parsley, Gruyere cheese, creme fraiche.
Okay.
And topped with mashed potato.
Okay, and you've 3 minutes, folks, to get all those ingredients together. Yeah. Not less, of course, you're watching us on the player, and then you can get them in your own time. Anyway, thank you, Oliver, for now.
Thank you.
After the break, we'll be dragging Maria and Jared to the kitchen. Conor Pope will be answering your consumer-related questions, and our resident web addict, David Atkinson, will bring us the best of the web this week. So we'll see you back here in a few minutes. Welcome back to the 7 O'Clock Show. We're live with you until 8. Ger Ryan is our guest tonight, along with Maria Walsh, and we brought them up to the kitchen to muck in with Chef Oliver Dunn. What are you going to get them to do, Oliver?
Fish pie. So the first thing we need to do is I'm going to get Maria chopping up some herbs.
I have no cooking ability. I just need to be honest with you right now. Okay, but let's go for it.
So this is
I just need to make people aware of that now.
So this is going to be a very embarrassing 8 minutes.
My mother's at home going, really, Maria, could you not just...
So what you want to do is literally pick a load of herbs, okay? Pick the stems off the actual leaves. Same with the dill as well. Loads of fresh dill, and then we're just going to chop it up. And all you have to do is cutting, leave the knife on the bench, backwards and forwards, cutting.
There's a fella over there sweating, thinking the Rose of Tralee is about to lose his fingers.
I think there's a few watching at home that would be all right with it.
Ger, if you wouldn't mind, what I'd love you to do is take one of them bowls, and I'm going to get you some grate, okay? Yes. So the idea of this dish is to hide loads of veg. So we have a celeriac here. So celeriac is in every supermarket in the country. It's a veg that people don't really know what to do, okay? That's what it looks like with the skin on, skin off. I've peeled it down like so. Okay. It's a white veg, which is perfect, the big side, yeah? And by grating this down, we're going to mix all this in the end with the fish. It dissolves pretty much during the cooking process, so the kids don't see it, okay?
Okay.
So same again with the carrots here.
Okay.
All right, you grew this in your own garden, Ger.
I'm delaying the process.
Not celery, I did 1 year. I didn't know what to do with it, but I've just planted some carrot seeds. I have leeks still in the garden, purple sprout and broccoli. Okay. So I'm just getting ready now for the next harvest, but I'm still eating veg from the freezer from last year.
Do I need to do something with
Love
this?
it.
Yeah, it's just how you're chopping.
Do I need to do something with this?
Oh, you need to pick all the dill, yeah.
Oh.
All the dill is needed.
All the dill, so
Hard
loads of
to
herbs.
I can
So
put
let's
this
just
on my
pick, you
CV.
don't mind little small
Yeah, you
little
can.
stalks. We can just pick all them
with the
off.
Michelin star chef. Yeah, I'm a brilliant cook.
Okay, so for the chopping part of it,
Yeah.
go again. Because you need to, see, so you're not cutting.
You told me to keep...
Yeah, that's what.
That's going to be around here.
You're basically
I'm
like
worried.
that, okay? But if
That's
you
gonna be
cut,
around.
you'll actually cut the herbs.
Oh.
So,
Oh, you actually want them cut, is it? Oh, I see.
yeah. That's generally what the knife does. So, yeah, we're just going to chop them all
It's
up.
down there for Irish dancing, this is for real. Right, what are you doing over there?
In this pot here, okay, I just have some creme fraiche. So this is a little sneaky way of infusing. As I said, this is a dish for adults as well.
Okay.
I find with kids, certainly my kids, they're very much so colour sensitive. So,
Okay.
you know, if I put a plate of food in front of, you know, Evan or Kimmy, my two children, they say, what's that? They just spot something green a mile away or
Okay.
something orange or something like that. So this is a way of infusing herbs in. So I've got the cream onto the boil. We've all the little herbs chopped up. Lovely. Sort of.
Nearly.
Okay, so chopped up.
that fast.
And then the herbs go into the cream. So what we want to do is we want to infuse all these herbs into the cream. So you get the flavour out of dill, the flavour out of parsley. And once it's all infused, bring it up to the boil, take it off, let it sit there for a few minutes, a little bit of salt in.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do is strain them all out.
All right.
Okay, so you'll just be using the cream. They won't see the green bits, but all the flavour's in there, okay? And all the
Them
goodness is
now,
out of
use
it.
them. Oh, no.
Perfect, that's all done.
I think we've plenty of celeriac.
A little bit of carrot then. We've loads of celeriac. So some leek, again, same thing. We just need... And just focusing on the white of the leeks, again, worrying about little kiddies not spotting it. And then with a leek, you want to chop it up nice and small. So,
Okay.
again, if you're... You ready? Backwards and
I
forwards. And you're literally chopping nice and thin. Just like that.
And you're on.
Go.
Like that?
Yeah, but you
I
don't
would be
lift it
the
off the
very
bench.
same
Keep
as
on,
you,
that's
Maria.
it.
I
Backwards
really
and forwards. Yeah,
think,
perfect.
yeah,
Like, think of it as scissors. There you go, perfect. That's it. And make sure it's cut through. Okay. Next, the pressure. So now, next for this. What we have with the celeriac, and show me how much carrot you have there. That's grand. Celeriac, carrot goes together. I'm going to get the actual leek. Fabulous job, absolutely perfect. You should apply for a job as a cook.
No.
So the leek goes in with the actual fish. I just have a bit too much for the quantity of fish that I have. All the fish down, I have some prawns, some salmon, some cod, which I'm just going to chop up into small little pieces. So literally just run your knife through all these, small little bits like so. This lemon zest then, I need a little bit of lemon zest. And just on the fine side, please. Yeah, that's perfect.
This side,
Yeah.
You even know how to use apparatus.
Okay, so once all the prawns are chopped up,
Okay.
you mix all the fish in with the veg, mix all this around. A little bit of the lemon zest, which
Is on the way.
bang the actual zest, it'll all probably all pop out, will it?
shoot.
I'm glad you said shoot, because it's still not quite 9 o'clock.
It's live.
A little bit of lemon zest in there, and then the juice of some lemon as well. That's fine. I have enough.
All
too.
right, okay.
Okay, and then literally put loads of juice over the actual fish. Season it. So you can have all this pre-prepared. You can have all the fish, the veg, all chopped up, pre-prepared before you go to work. No problem at all. Then what you do, last thing you do is put the salt on, okay? The lemon juice is important. Once all this is mixed around, this goes in the bottom of your dish.
All right.
Okay, so whatever dish you're cooking it in. So it's quite a dry mix, as I say, all the veg in there. Then what we're going to do, get some Gruyere cheese, and we just grate over the top some Gruyere cheese.
All right. This
All
all
right.
looks delicious.
So again, you're hiding the cheese inside the actual dish. And then this sauce. So you just want to taste this. The important thing is you taste it. You've seasoned this. Taste this to make sure the seasoning is right, because if the seasoning isn't right in this, your whole dish isn't going to taste good, okay?
Okay, so
Once you have enough salt in it, and that's the creme fraiche. As I said, if you're doing it for kids, you can take the herbs out. If you're doing it for adults, it's not necessary. Put some of that creamy, herby sauce over the top. And then, finally, make sure you have enough liquid in it that it's about half full. Because it's raw fish, as it's cooking, all the water's going to come out of the fish. And then, if it's really, really wet and the water comes out, it'll just be like a soup, okay? So you want about half the level of cream to the actual amount of fish that's in it. And then...
And do you recommend thick pieces of...
Nice thick chunks. You
Yeah.
want to be able to have a nice big lump of fish. And then the final touch is, in here I have some mashed potato, okay? So I've just put it in a
Regular
bag to
mashed
make it easy.
potato.
So it's mashed potato. I put a little bit of butter into it. egg yolk, 2 egg yolks into it, and a touch of olive oil, and just whisk it, okay?
Okay.
So now, what I would like you to have a go at, Maria, is pretty much you can push it all down nice.
Remember before we started? And I said,
And she said, we're running out of time.
Well, listen, you don't have to do this. You know, you can just put it on any old way. But if you have a little nozzle, try to twist it on like so.
See, I was going to write up mayo and mashed potato, but I guess not.
Okay. Aye.
Perfect. Look at
Oh,
that.
my
Look
decorating
at that.
skills are phenomenal.
There we go.
That is very impressive.
So you do the whole lot. Keep going the whole.
I know.
All of you.
Anyway.
And then you pop that into an oven, depending on the size. The recipe up online does 4 to 6 people, and it will take about 35 minutes to bake in the oven, okay? And that's it. You can put it from the fridge in the morning, you can take it out, you just need to give it an extra 10 minutes. When it's cooked, it should look
This is
just
what I
like
helped
this.
to make
Do you know
earlier.
what? Very good.
It's quality, isn't
Yeah,
it?
very
That
good.
is excellent.
You're not looking for a decor. Is that what you call
And then
it?
we have
Wow.
a beautiful fish pie. Okay?
Okay.
So when they come out of the oven, they're, you know, it's very, very hot, but you dig in and all that grated carrots, celeriac, leek, it sort of disappears. Kids don't spot it. If your kids are colour sensitive, substitute carrots for parsnips. It works just as well. You're substituting 2 sweet veg, and it's really, really good. My kids are colour sensitive. That's how I figured that bit out. They will spot it a mile away. So celeriac, they don't see it. Parsnips, they don't see it. Strain the herbs, eating it. I'm happy they're laughing at it.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. We're going to let that cool because it is just out of the oven. So we'll let it cool for a sec before we tuck in, and we'll tell you in a sec how we get on. Okay, while we're tucking in here, and thank you, Oliver, by the way.
Thank you.
If you head to our Facebook page, you'll get details on how you can win one of 5 passes to Tasteful Parking and find out how you can win them there. Facebook page, that's where you need to go now. Shayna.
That looks delicious. That looks. All I need to say, if my kids are watching, do not remember anything. There are no vegetables in that because we'll be making it tomorrow. Now, from one Batman to another, Mr. Conor Pogue is back with all your questions. I have a few questions for you. Are you ready?
I am.
Now, these are complicated. What are the charges for using a credit card in the US, and have you any info on the post office credit card? Is it a good option?
Well, we'll start with the first bit of that question. The thing to watch out for when you're using your credit card in the US is currency conversion charges, because every time you use your credit card in the US, even if it's for a transaction for $8, $10, you're hit with a currency conversion charge.
What about?
It depends. It's a percentage of the transaction, and there's a minimum fee. So the minimum fee might be 50 cents or $1 on every transaction. So if you're doing a lot of very small purchases, it really kills you. So the top tip there is load up your credit card before you go, and then use your credit card at ATMs. Don't use your credit card when you've got no money in it. Put the cash into your credit card, and then when you use it at an ATM, you're not going to be hit with the fees, and make your purchases in cash. You'll save yourself a lot of cash. As for the post office credit card, we'd have to talk about that at a separate time because it's different. It's a brand. It has good things and bad things like all credit cards.
Bigger issue. Our mortgages, we'll have to do this really quickly. 220,000. There's a 4.5 variable interest rate. Can we switch banks to get a lower rate? Is that an option?
Yes, you can. Yes. In fact, a couple of people have been in touch with me over recent weeks to say that they've managed to get their variable rate down from 4.5 to 3.7 to 3.5%, and you could be looking at saving yourself 700 or 800 quid a year just by doing that. The thing is to play hardball with your bank and make sure that they play ball with you.
So play hardball with your own bank?
Yeah, tell them you'll switch to a rival operator.
You probably have to do a bit of research first into the market.
Yeah, there's a couple of players in the market at the moment that are very competitive on that score. We could talk about that at a different time.
I love that. Another day. He's just sorting out his next gig. Sort it all out for next. Okay, Conor, thank you so much for that. We'll see you next week for your next gig and all the topics that... We'll finish off the questions, basically, then. And we're going to be back after the break. We'll be doing this week's Web Roundup, and Oliver Dunn will be answering your questions. But by the sounds of it, I'd Google and get really intelligent questions into him. He's pretty fussy about the questions. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back all to the 7 o'clock show. We're live with you until 8 o'clock. We have wonderful guests, Joe Ryan, Maria Walsh, both on the couch with us tonight. And of course, because it's Wednesday, we're joined by our resident web nerd / Rose Tralee, Mr. David Atkinson.
He's just gone a step too far tonight.
Hello.
What are you doing?
Hi.
It's lovely.
Hello, how are you?
She's singing the song.
I'm also I could be the escort, really, couldn't I?
I'd take you more of the rose than I would as the escort now.
Well, Obama turned her down, so you know.
He likes that.
Yeah. Well,
That is your crown.
Yes. Designed, I believe, by Philip Tracy, created in Newbridge, sterling silver.
Wear the sash properly, please.
See, like I said, maybe we'll take you as the escort. What do we do?
Everywhere you go, do
That's
people
in my
ask for that?
handbag. Yeah, actually, it's
David?
I fit in the glove.
They're like,
glove
return. A lot of, when a lot of kids are around, I always like to have it out. And there's little girls out there that love, who've been watching the Rose of Tralee who love it. And actually, there's a lot of older gentlemen and
20-year-olds,
ladies who like to
21-year-olds
throw it
love
on.
it. It's huge.
Fellas like to wear it.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Okay.
And out of I would think, oh, you're actually just trying to have the crack right now. But out of serious, they just want to.
How does it feel, David?
Feels liberating. Pretty good, yeah. I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, I like it. Maybe this could be a viral video.
You do realise now that you have to do this feature?
Of course,
with the crown on
with the crown. Yeah, hopefully I don't move my head a whole lot. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, you have been around the web and you've got some treats for us.
I've been around. I got a few good ones for you, right? Okay. A lot of stories, very interesting stories going viral this week. I'm going to start with one, and that's to do with bullying, right? Okay. And social media, obviously, bullying is something that happens everywhere you go. But I think we found a gem of stopping it, of how to like end it, right? Because I heard a story from America. A guy called Timothy found out his son was actually bullying someone in school, right? And instead of going to the teacher, he actually wanted to cut it off at the source, go to his son himself, right? He made his son promise that he would wake up at 4:30 in the morning, run for a mile. He promised that he'd landscape his father's 2 houses, and he'd also apologise to the boy himself. But it wasn't just that. He took a photo of him signing a big poster saying he would do all this and put it online.
Okay.
Overnight, hundreds of thousands of likes, views. This is the photo itself.
Wow.
It's a huge, long list as well. So Timothy actually got his son to agree to do all this. So he actually would stop doing it from the source, and then people would realise that it's not okay to bully. And he also wrote a little note in that photo as well. I don't know if you can see it, saying that it's not okay to bully. It's good to stand up for people who are feeling vulnerable, and to actually, look out for these people,
So has he got loads of positive feedback?
Lots of positive feedback. Of course, he obviously had to he apologised to the boy as well. All's well that ends well. But really, really positive response saying that you shouldn't bully. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Really
all that sort of
active
stuff.
parent. That's really cool.
Very active, yeah, and it shows sort of utilising the internet, really. Do you know what I mean? So it's actually positive goods, yeah. Oh my God, this is falling over. Sorry. I'll just stand up straighter, will I? Okay,
dancers are next.
Okay, dancers next. Now, it's more so sketch artists, okay? These 3 gorgeous ladies from Australia, right? Okay, they're called Sketch She, right? And they're getting millions and millions of views online, okay, with this latest video that they've made. It's called Mine Through Time, okay? And it's taking the sort of karaoke in the car, sort of karaoke to a different level.
Okay.
Have a look at what they made. It's got 18 million views as of today.
Okay, let's take a look.
In the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. You ain't nothing but a hound dog, the crying all the time. Beat it, there's no one wants to beat it. With somebody who loves me. Well, the lights down, it's a dangerous. You ain't on now, entertainers. Give me a sign. Hit me, baby, one more time.
Wow.
That is brilliant.
And all done on the one car journey.
Yeah. It's a trip from Cork to Dublin, actually. I think, right? Yeah. So it's actually 18 million views now as well. So fair play to them for doing that. They've got a load more going on there on YouTube. The next one as well is a guy from Limerick. His name is Jared Mullins. He's a commerce student in UCC. And Jared's a bit of a fan of impressions, right? Okay. And the guys around the house are getting very sick of him doing these impressions. So they said, listen, we'll just video you once, put it on Facebook, you get that 100 likes or whatever, and then leave that be. Well, it went viral. And this is the video that he made.
Okay.
Check it out.
You see, down here, just a bag of bones and flesh, meat waiting for the slaughter. See, we're all gonna die soon anyway. All right.
X Factor guy. It's live from the O2. It's Shah and Louis and Simon. Michael Caine.
I'm Michael Caine. Now, if you don't know me, you should Google me. But you should know that I'm...
Is that Michael Caine?
Yeah, Michael Caine.
Michael Caine at the end.
I wasn't sure.
It doesn't quite work when you're asking, is that Michael Caine?
Okay.
But he did a good job.
Lampshade?
Lampshade?
Give him a few years, could be the next Mario.
All right. Yeah. Okay, all right. Cool. As always, David, thank you very, very much.
Thank
and
you.
you need to pass the crown now down to Ger.
Yes, of course.
No, Jer's next.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll see you again next week. He'll be back with the Gadget Buzz roundup next week. Now, Chef Oliver Dunn is still in the kitchen. He's made this wonderful fish pie, but he's still there in the kitchen answering your questions. Oliver, what's in?
Thanks for
Where are you slacking off, Oliver? Tell the truth.
We have a lovely question from Amy, and she wants to know what I'm having. Fish pie, Amy, is the answer.
he's having his fish pie. He's chucking into fish pie. Yeah, it is. By the way, are there certain fishes that you can use that won't have as potent a fish taste as others?
Pretty much no. In that sort of mix like that, you know, I think shellfish is quite important because it brings a saltiness to it. I like smoked fish. You know, I think smoked fish brings a good kick to it as well, but not too much can overpower it. But my logic on fish, they're all fish, they all swim in the sea and they all eat other fish. So they all pretty much taste the same, yeah. Oh. You know, in a dish like that, there's so many flavours going on, you wouldn't be able to single out individual fish.
OK. Yeah. Thanks so much, Oliver.
No problem.
And he's a chef, and he said it. There you go.
And Michelin star chef, too.
I know. I know. Whatever he says is true.
OK. Ger.
Yes.
You're working with Roddy Doyle again. Come the weekend. You're involved with the Barrytown meets...
Music Town meets Barrytown. Yeah. It's part of the Music Town is this new festival from the 10th, I think, to the 19th in Dublin. Music and events and walks and workshops everywhere, all around music. And they're doing in Vicar Street next Sunday. It's their Music Town meets Barrytown. It's Dublin City Council have designated, they do one city, one book every year, and this year it's Roddy's trilogy, which is The Commitments, The Snapper and The Van. And so Sunday night in Vicar Street is like a celebration of Roddy and his writing and stuff. So there's a whole host of people. I had to write them all down because there's so many. But it's the music and the spoken word. And so you've got, well, Roddy Doyle, of course, will be there, but you've got Tina Kelleher, Aidan Gillen, Colm McConumra, I had to make sure I pronounced that right, Nellie Conroy, Imelda May, Glenn Hansard, Damien Dempsey, Peter Coonan, Katja Reardon, Colin Meaney, Paul Mercier, Richard Hawley, and myself. So it's a whole evening, and it's in aid of a charity, a really brilliant charity called Fighting Words, which Roddy was one of the founders of, and it teaches creative writing to children and adults and special needs, and, you know, it's just an amazing, amazing...
And you're going to make a return to something that's familiar to you. You're going to read some extracts from The Woman Who Walked Into Doors.
Yes, I'm just reading an excerpt from that book, The Woman Who Walked Into Doors, yeah.
Well, and it was from that we got The Family.
Which you play? No, well, actually, that came after Family.
All right.
Yeah, I think when after writing Family, because I know that he was writing it while we were... just as we began Family, so I think he started... So it came out after.
OK, all right. So it should be a good night this Sunday, and there's still some tickets available if you want to go.
I think so, yeah. I'm sorry, but if you get onto musictown.ie...
You'll get the necessary information.
Brilliant night, Jeff.
Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing.
And for you, what is next, Maria, once you get your crown and sash back?
If you get your crown and sash back.
Today we launched the regional festival, which will be held in Portlaoise at the end of the June bank holiday, and then Tralee itself kicks off the 14th of August. And just to people at home, there is still time, rosetralee.ie, to apply, be a rose, and indeed come down with your family, friends. Great crack. It's more than just the 2 nights on TV. We have Hudson Taylor coming down, Nathan Carter on the streets. Sharon Shannon's joining us, so it's going to be a good night. And then, of course, I head to Tanzania in July with a group called Development Perspectives. And
that is as ambassador, as the Rose of
I'm one of their members of the Insight 2015 programme. So 32 of us head over, and we kick off this weekend actually in Meath for the kick-off for the social issues and really change our perspectives.
Gosh, you are so inspiring.
Isn't she? I know.
I'm going home to have dinner. That's pretty much
it. See if you can get that back off his head now. Unfortunately, that's all we got time for tonight. Joining us tomorrow are chart-topping boy band Hometown and their manager Louis Walsh. Then we've got to decide who's going into the kitchen with Gary O'Hanlon. Poor old Gary has to cook for all of them.
Louis will be straight in there.
Don't you know?
Louis will be straight in with the boys. And right now, we have to say a very big thanks to all our guests. To Maria, thank you very much. To Ger, and best of luck on Sunday. And to the new crowned Rose of Tralee, David Atkinson. The 8 o'clock news is going to be coming up straight after us, and then there's going to be a brand new Red Rock episode. That's going to be at 8:30, so do stay tuned for that.
Oh, there'll be loads going on. Listen, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Oliver and Connor as well. Thank you very much for tonight. We'll see you again soon. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. See you.
Have a great night.